Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Okkervil River. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
Hi. Hello.
You guys are in the middle of a really big tour right now, and this has been a tour of changes. You've got people who have joined, people who have left. How's that transition been?
Newbie.
Did you start for this tour?
Yeah, this is the first tour I've done with the band.
All the festivals with us.
I started at the end of June, doing short little festival stints.
I'd say having a girl in the touring group is really helpful because with a bunch of dudes, things can get a little bit gross sometimes. When there's a girl around, you kind of are a little bit more.
People tend to be on
etiquette
better
gets
behavior.
a little bit higher
Etiquette,
up.
yeah.
I've been completely impressed by how you guys clean up. You guys
okay.
take care of the
Good,
bus,
good.
you scrub the toilet and
It's
stuff.
kind of somehow un-rock and roll or something. I mean, we have a schedule, a cleaning schedule
Yeah.
on our tour bus. It's says, Patrick front on Wednesday, Travis back lounge on Tuesday.
I think that maybe you're the first band I've ever heard of with a chore chart.
Yeah, for sure. We're the only ones.
Now, you used to live in New York.
I do currently.
Oh, you do currently?
Yeah,
Okay, because I think I had read that you had first stage names. Now, that album and the stand-ins both have sort of a, I don't know, it almost seems very cynical about fame and, authenticity. And I was wondering if living in New York kind of affected that.
I don't know, you meet a lot of people who got involved in New York and professionally and working at something that's like a mockery of why they came to New York in the first place. It's like, I got to come to New York to be an artist, and then cut to 2 years later, and it's like, yeah, it's great, I'm working in an advertising agency, And I started to feel like I was hearing people talk about artists being authentic and be very condescending. It was like the word authentic was came with strange connotations that seemed to be somewhat condescending to the artists. People will talk about how authentic Daniel Johnston is. Well, what they would love to talk about is how batshit insane Daniel Johnston is. Not that he is. I actually don't think that he is, but I'm sort of, it's that outsider art thing. And so I guess it sort of just starts ricochet around in your head enough and knock some songs out,
The thing you said about Daniel Johnston, you guys played with Rocky.
Yeah, let me
And
clarify
that's a
too,
lot of-
I have a massive amount of respect for Daniel Johnston, and when I say batshit insane, I'm trying to say the condescending attitude that other people have towards him. I don't mean to
It's not the official position of
Yeah,
Okkervil
it's
River.
not my position.
But you did play with Rocky earlier this year. And I was just thinking about what you said about, sort of on the album too, being a fan of someone. Was that something you thought? I mean, it's such a weird thing to do, playing with them. And what was that like?
It was incredible.
It rocks.
I remember the first time I heard the 13th floor elevators. I think I was 17, and my friend that was 12 years older than me played them for me, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Never in a million years at that time when I thought that 13 years later I'd be playing with him. And we never even rehearsed with him. We did a couple songs at sound check, and I'll just never forget. We finished the first song, and he just looks back at me and he's like, that sounded really nice. And I was so happy. It was I'm like, yes.
We didn't
I
think he
let
was
him
going to
down.
be there.
He's got some real positive energy.
Somebody else is going to be there, and they're going to set things up and be like, these are the songs that you're going to do. And, I'm setting up my stuff and tuning up, and I turn and look next to me, and he's standing right there, and I was just like, holy shit. Yeah. and then I'm like, hey, Rocky, how's it going? And he's like, pretty good, how you doing? And he's just the nicest guy. We start chatting, talking about doing stuff. So it's kind of we didn't think he was going to be there. And then he was there, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, you're playing, and
And it really came together. It worked.
It did.
really well. And one of the first songs we did, I think, was I Walked with a Zombie. And that ending, there was no real proper ending to the song.
That's why the song went 9 minutes
And it
live.
kept on going on and on and on.
That was
and
so
all of a
fun.
sudden, it was this psychedelic
Yeah,
experience.
that was truly
because, like,
psychedelic.
Nobody knew what was going on. It was like this large venue.
I mean, in the practice, he sings "I Walk with a Zombie." He sang it like 3 times. We did a little 3-bar thing. Sang it 5 times. We did a little, but live, he started out sang it about 9 times. And then there was we played a long instrumental thing, and then he came on and sang it about 20 times. Yeah. And I was just waiting for him to stop singing "I Walked with a Zombie" and staring at him. And then by that time the song had been going on for like 7 minutes. Yeah. And then we're like, all right, stop. And everything stops, and I look back at Trav, and he just has basically gone into a drum breakdown. And I was like, oh my God, here we go. We're going back into the fucking song.
We're playing with Rocky Erickson.
Yeah,
How can
it
you
was
not?
awesome. And then at a certain point, I was like, we have just been playing for 10 minutes this song whose only line is "I walked with a zombie last night" in front of a bunch of Austin music people who are just sort of like, at this point, they're just numb, by us playing. And it was purely self-indulgent and so much like rubbing their face in this one line. And I was just like, this is such a fucking thrill. Yeah. It's like the accidental fuck you to everyone here.
It's the only way to do that song.
Since that's, being a fan is like something that you talk about a lot on stand-in stage names. Has your sort of relationship, like being a huge fan of someone, has it changed since you've been in a band and you've gotten your own fans and like?
I think the only thing that's changed for me is understanding when you talk to people that have been touring, the perma days of tour that's on their face. It's not that they don't like you or that they're sick of talking to you. They're just sleep deprived and they've been driving 15 hours every day.
Yeah. Last night this girl said to me, I really love your lyrics. Thank you so much for playing. And I said, oh, thank you so much for coming out. And she said, fuck you. That's such a canned response. I can't believe you said that to me. That sounds like such bullshit. You're just a liar making up some stupid thing. I feel dirty now. And she started yelling at me, and she cornered me, and I was just like, I'm sorry. I really mean thank you for coming to the show. And she was like, yeah, whatever. People say that to you all the time. Fuck you, And I was just like trapped there for about 15 minutes. Wow. And then
I was wondering how the 2 albums, by the way, sort of work together. How do you see them connected? Is one a sequel to the other, or do you consider them sort of both? Because you wrote them at the same time and recorded them.
They were written at the same time, but early on I started to see ways to sort of take them apart from each other. I think if I was gonna sort of generally say, it would be that there was a little bit more of an emphasis on artists on the first one, a little bit more of an emphasis on fans in the second one.
I think that the album is a little, it seems a little not bleaker, but a little sadder than the other one. I guess that was part of the intention of.
People say that. It's funny. I don't think about it like that, weirdly enough. I just think of it as realistic. You know what I mean? It's sort of like as amazing as Phil Spector. As much as you like Phil Spector's music, it's like he did kill somebody. As much as you like R. Kelly, like he did piss on that girl. Like I love it when you read or when you watch a VH1 Behind the Music and you can tell that people are biting their tongue trying to not say that someone was an absolute bastard. Like T-Rex. Like I love T-Rex, and so if you love a band, you start to want to read more about them, and it's very clear, everything you read about Mark Bolan, that everyone is biting their tongue trying not to speak ill of the dead, because it sounds like he was not a very pleasant person, and you're just like, that's a real bummer, I want to believe that he would be my best friend, that we would have his arm thrown around me at the bar,
Could you talk about the last song on the album is a story I didn't really know about, and that's sort of a really interesting story about an almost pop star.
Well, I think that the story of Jobriath is it kind of captures a lot of the kind of shit that I was trying vaguely to understand when I was writing these songs, which is that here's a guy, he's just a kid from the farm in the Midwest, goes to the big city. He is in an off-Broadway production of Hair. And then it gets swept up in the marketing and media fervor for glam rock. So Jerry Brandt, his A&R guy's we're gonna make you a bigger star than Bowie. They spend zillions of dollars. You know, he gets a big billboard in Times Square. He's naked in the billboard. You know, like they're gonna go. We're gonna go a step further with his sexual thing, and he's openly gay. First openly gay rock star that never was. I mean, he was so overhyped by the time that he came out that nobody. He was a joke. And so here's a guy. It's like he ends up being totally forgotten. When Morrissey wanted him to open for the Your Arsenal tour, he went out to look for him, found out he died 10 years earlier of AIDS, you know, totally alone. Nobody even knew he was in his apartment dead. You know, it's really funny because the story of Jobriath, it's kind of a story of hype, and it's kind of a story of like what the public wants and doesn't want, and it's kind of a story of like just an innocent person getting kind of destroyed by something. But it's also weirdly the story of like the very worst case scenario that your parents would imagine for you when you tell them that you're going into music. Hey Mom, like I'm gonna die of AIDS alone, you know, like and forgotten of a musical footnote, if not a punchline. Here I go. And I just, you know, you can't help but feel for the guy.